In this video, I'm going to explain to you the 6 degrees of freedom. I'm going to start out by creating a new part and a new sketch, and make sure it's on the XY plane. I'm going to create a polygon. So make it 12 facets. Position your cursor at 0 and go out. The size doesn't really matter. Go like that and hit done. And we're going to extrude it. Yeah, that's about right, 1 inch, and hit check. And we're going to save this, save it as, I just call it part 1. I'm going to create a new assembly. I'm going to place part 1. I'm going to place 2 of them. I'm going to save that. Just save it. I'm calling it assembly 2. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to create a new presentation. I'm going to load in my parts, create a view, hit OK. Now go to Tweak Component, and you notice if I open up my assembly, my browser here, there's 2 parts. I'm going to choose this component here, and you notice that this component is this part here in the browser. That's the part I want. As far as direction, I'm going to choose this space here. You notice I get an XYZ coordinate system here. And I'm going to choose this radio button translation, the straight arrow. So these are my degrees of freedom, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to choose X. So I'm going to, you notice that the X direction is highlighted blue. And I'm going to move the part in the X direction. So I'm going to just position my cursor here, and I can move the part in the X direction. That's 1 degree of freedom, movement and translation in the X direction. Now I'm going to choose Y. I'm going to move the part in the Y direction. That's translation in the Y direction, my 2nd degree of freedom. Now I'm going to choose the Z, and I'm going to move the part in the Z direction. That's my 3rd degree of freedom, translation in the Z. Those are my three of my degrees of freedom. Now I'm going to choose the radio button for rotation. I'm going to choose X. Notice that the X-axis is now highlighted, and this little rotational arrow is highlighted, and I'm going to rotate the part on the X-axis. You notice I can rotate it around. Now I'm going to rotate it on the Y, and if you notice it, the Y-axis is now highlighted. I'm going to rotate the part on the Y, choose the Z, and now I could rotate the part on the Z-axis. You can see the facets rotate as I change as I rotate it, and now I'm going to hit close. So if I open up my browser here, I notice that I have 6 tweaks now, and those are and I displayed the 6 degrees of freedom. I'm going to choose Animate, and I could play this. Now when I play it, it's going to play it in reverse. There's my 1 degree of freedom, my 2nd degree of freedom, my 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. If I want to see it in the way I created it, I actually have to see see it in reverse. So So I'm going to record this. I'm going to select the record button, and it's going to ask me for a file name, and I'm just going to give it the standard, whatever it proposes, explosion 1, and I'm going to hit save. And then it's going to ask, I could set all these different settings, but choose the file size and so forth. I'm just going to take the default and hit OK. Now I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it in reverse. Once it's done, here's the trick. You have to hit record again. Select record again. And once you do, it'll save your file. And if you go to your to where you're storing your files, in this case I'm doing it on the Autodesk cloud. Now, I'm going to play it, Explosion 1. It's right here. I'm going to double click on it. Creates a WAV file. And by playing with the settings, you can get a higher degree of resolution. So that WAV file, note where it was stored and the file name, and I want you to submit it to LMS to complete the assignment.